Hey everyone, and welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Awesome. Well, today we're going to be looking into something truly massive, the Maha Kumbh 2025.
Wow. Yeah.
It just wrapped up over in Prayagraj, India.
Incredible.
We've got some excerpts here from an article. It's called Maha Kumbh 2025, Devotion, Discipline, and Divine Dips.
Sounds fascinating.
Yeah, I think you're going to be pretty blown away by the sheer scale of this whole thing. Like, seriously.
Yeah, the Kumbh Mela is always a massive event, but this one sounds especially huge.
Yeah, you're telling me. So on the last day of the Kumbh, get this, it was Maha Shivratri, right?
Okay.
1.53 crore devotees took a dip in the Sangam waters.
Wow. That's, it's almost hard to comprehend that many people in one place.
Yeah, like it's more than like the populations of a bunch of countries combined, like, Belgium, Sweden, Portugal, like all those people in one place.
It's just mind-boggling.
What do you think motivated like millions of people to be a part of something like this?
Oh. Well, the Kumbh Mela itself is a really big deal in Hindu mythology. There's this whole story about this celestial battle, right? And drops of like this elixir of immortality fell to earth.
Okay.
And Prayagraj is one of those spots.
I see.
So bathing in the Sangam, especially during the Kumbh, it's a pretty major thing, a path to purification.
Makes sense. So like spiritual liberation?
Exactly. It's a deeply spiritual experience for a lot of these devotees.
Wow. And this particular Kumbh was even more special because it happened at the same time as Maha Shivratri.
Oh, right. The festival celebrating Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati?
Yeah, must have been something else.
It sounds incredible. The article actually describes a really immersive atmosphere, like chanting, prayers, and this incredible rush of faith as people go into the water.
I bet. I can only imagine. Managing a crowd like that must have been insane. I mean, it's basically a pop-up city, right? Security, sanitation, all of it.
Logistically, yeah, it's just incredible. You've got these security checkpoints everywhere, crowd control measures, the amount of waste generated, it's just mind-boggling.
Yeah. Talk about a challenge.
But what's really remarkable is that they actually pulled it off.
Wow. So it sounds like they did a pretty good job then.
From what I've read, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The Uttar Pradesh government, they really deserve some credit for this.
Yeah, for sure. That level of organization, that takes serious effort.
It really does.
It makes you think, if they can manage a crowd this big so smoothly, why can't we see that kind of efficiency, I don't know, in our everyday lives?
Right. Imagine if, like, grocery store lines moved with Kumbh-like precision.
I know, right?
I mean, all jokes aside, it really shows you the discipline and commitment to, order that the event has.
For sure. But it probably wasn't without its challenges. Right?
Well, yeah. Unfortunately, there was that stampede earlier in the Kumbh.
Right there.
It's a tragic reminder of just how difficult it is to manage a crowd of that size.
It's a huge responsibility, for sure.
Yeah. But, despite that, I think overall, the security measures they put in place, they were really successful. I mean, they were dealing with something massive, and for the most part, things went smoothly.
Definitely impressive. It's amazing the dedication it takes to, put on an event of this scale.
It really is.
But, beyond just the logistics, what's really sticking with me is the devotion of everyone there.
Yeah, it's truly moving.
Like the article mentions crowds gathering before sunrise, chanting prayers as they're getting ready to go into the Sangam.
It's a powerful image, isn't it? Faith in action.
Totally. I mean, millions of people coming together with this shared spiritual purpose. It must feel, I don't know, almost transcendent.
You're right. It's that yearning for connection, for something bigger than ourselves. I think that's what resonates with people in a world that can feel so divided, right?
Right.
The Kumbh, it offers this sense of belonging. It's like a pilgrimage, not just to a place, but to something deeper within.
And it's not just like individuals seeking either, right? There's this powerful sense of collective ritual, this shared belief system.
Exactly. Like take the act of bathing in the Sangam. You have people from all walks of life, right? All immersing themselves in those same waters.
Yeah.
It's such a strong symbol of unity, of purification, connecting them to something ancient, something that's been going on for centuries. It's living tradition.
Okay, but let's be real for a second. A gathering this big, it can't be all serene spirituality, right?
Yeah.
I'm picturing some moments of chaos, maybe even a little humor.
Oh, definitely. Remember that part in the article about the lost and found?
Oh, yeah.
Imagine that, the piles of shoes,
Yeah.
people searching frantically.
I love it. A little bit of everyday life, even in this grand, almost mythical event.
Right. It's those little moments that bring it back down to earth.
Makes you realize that even with all the rituals and everything, it's still a human experience.
Absolutely. It is. Speaking of the human experience, I'm curious about something. What about technology at the Kumbh Mela?
That's a good point. How does a tradition this old, handle the digital world?
Yeah, I mean, the article didn't really go into detail about that, but it makes you think.
What role do you think technology played in making all this happen?
Well, you have to think about the communication networks, right?
True.
Coordinating everything. The systems for monitoring the crowds. And I bet social media played a huge role in keeping people informed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's safe to say technology was essential behind the scenes.
And on the other side of that, think about the data.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
All that foot traffic, the things people were buying, what they were posting online.
A data scientist's dream, right.
Totally. You could analyze the Kumbh from so many different angles. Crowd behavior, religious practices. I bet there are teams researching all of this.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Ancient rituals, modern technology.
It shows that tradition doesn't have to be stuck in the past.
Right.
It can change, adopt new tools, and still keep its essence.
As we're wrapping up this part of our deep dive, I'm just, I don't know, in awe of the scale of it all.
Yeah.
The Kumbh Mela is truly remarkable.
And what strikes me is, its power to inspire devotion, to bring people together, to give us a glimpse into faith and resilience. It's an experience that stays with you.
I bet. So before we move on, what about you? If you could witness one thing during the Kumbh, just one ritual or event, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a tough one. There's so much to see, but I think I'd have to go with the Shahi Snan.
The royal bath.
Yeah, exactly. That's where all the different akaras process down to the Sangam with their flags and chants and everything.
Wait, hold on. What's an akara again?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Basically, it's an organized group of sadhus, the holy men.
Okay, yeah.
They dedicate themselves to spiritual practices, often live together, follow specific traditions. Like, think of them as ancient spiritual orders.
So like the VIPs of the Kumbh Mela.
Yeah, in a way, I guess you could say that. They're really revered in the Hindu faith. And their procession during the Shahi Snan is supposed to be pretty amazing.
Wow. A real spectacle then.
Yeah, a total visual feast. And it really shows you the diversity within Hinduism, all these different groups with their own practices and beliefs.
It's incredible. There's just so much to this event. We've only scratched the surface.
Definitely. It's easy to get caught up in all the spectacle, but you have to remember the people at the heart of it. The people who travel from all over, driven by faith, by tradition, or, maybe just searching for something.
It's like that part in the article about all the lost shoes.
Right.
Lost in the crowd.
It's a good reminder that even amidst all these grand rituals, the Kumbh is still, a human experience.
With all its little croaks.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
what makes it so interesting, that mix of the sacred and the, the mundane.
Okay, but let's zoom out for a minute. What about the bigger picture? What does an event like this tell us about India? About faith? About society?
It's tempting to see the Kumbh Mela as just a religious festival. But it's so much more than that. It's about faith, culture, logistics, even politics. It's almost like a microcosm of India itself.
That's a really interesting way to put it. The fact that it's been happening for centuries on this scale, it says a lot about the power of faith, of tradition.
Yeah, and it makes you think about why we need something to believe in, right? The rituals, the practices, the things that connect us to something bigger than ourselves.
Especially in a world that can feel so individualistic sometimes.
Exactly. The Kumbh is like this powerful reminder of the collective experience.
And we can't forget that interplay between the ancient and the modern, right?
Oh, yeah.
On one hand, you have these rituals, these ancient beliefs. On the other, you have all this technology being used to manage it all.
It's a good reminder that tradition can adapt. It doesn't have to be stuck in the past.
And that's a good lesson for all of us, I think.
Definitely.
We can hold on to our values and still be open to change.
Absolutely. And we can't ignore the political side of things either. You have all these important officials there, media coverage, focus on infrastructure. It shows how connected religion and politics are in India.
The Kumbh Mela is definitely a platform for all of that.
Right. It's a reminder of the relationship between faith and power, which you see that in a lot of societies.
And it's not just an Indian thing either. The Kumbh Mela puts India on the world stage,
Yeah. It shows a different side of India.
Challenges stereotypes, invites people to see things in a new way.
It's a reminder that India is complex, a place where tradition and progress, they coexist. Sometimes they clash, but they always seem to find a way forward.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm left with this feeling of awe and a lot of curiosity, too.
Me too. The Kumbh Mela is more than just a festival. It's an experience, a journey, a testament to faith in the human spirit.
I think that's a perfect way to put it. So, for everyone listening, we hope this deep dive has, inspired you to learn more.
What would you ask someone who's actually been to the Kumbh Mela? What would you want to know about their experience?
That's a great question to think about. And who knows, maybe one day we'll get to experience it for ourselves. But until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll catch you next time.